Hello there everyone. It is I, Ginger, here with you once more to share my little tidbits meant to improve your Latin dancing on that dance floor. It's been a little while since our last encounter. I haven't done a video for quite a while for one or two reasons, predominantly because I am focused here on the studio teaching in class, studio classes. So I have been unable to make a little video for you all, but I decided, you know what, it's best to return. To share my little knowledge to improve your dancing on the dance floor. So here I am today to talk about sensuality on the dance floor for the females predominantly. Now, I did a little bit of a perusal on this topic of sensuality in dance across YouTube and across one or two other platforms, and I was surprised to see a lag when it comes to this topic of sensuality in dancing. It's not really discussed. I was very surprised to see, understand this. So I decided, you know what, I'm going to come on here and say one or two things about sensuality, precisely because it is such a big topic these days when it comes to Latin dancing in general, especially when it comes to that dance art form, Bachata. We talk about sensuality, and by default, maybe, that word sensuality is being mixed up with the word sexuality. This is my basic thoughts, especially in Bachata. You see all forms of movements happening, the mannerisms, the forms. It's kind of closer to sexuality as opposed to sensuality. That's one point. The second point is that a lot of female dancers do not know what that word means or how to get there, how they can express themselves better on the dance floor and be more sensual. How can we be more sensual? Well, today it's not about the physical aspect. I'm not going to be dancing and showing you steps. I'm going to try to put you in the mindset to help you understand what sensuality is. I'm going to do a second part to this video where we'll actually explore one or two moves that will help you portray sensuality on the dance floor. And I have here with me one or two points I want to expatiate with you quickly, about 3 points that will help you as a female dancer understand better that topic, sensuality. What is sensuality in dance? So you can describe sensuality as a state of being more, alluring on the dance floor, as being more come hither, as being more attractive on the dance floor. And when we talk about that word sensuality, it's always a given or a foregone thought that all women are necessarily sensual. But this is not necessarily the case. And again, sensuality is being confused with that word sexuality, which is something totally different. Please bear in mind that I'm talking about sensuality in Latin dancing and how we can advance this. Now, this topic of sensuality is actually taught to most of the professional Latin dancers. So when it comes to the professional Latin dancers, samba, cha-cha, rumba, paso doble, they know more about this topic than the social dancers. So this is for the social dancers, be it bachata, kizomba, and even salsa, if you're trying to look more sensual on the dance floor. So what's the first thing we must know, or one of the few things we must know to be more sensual on the dance floor? And the first thing that I want to highlight to you today is this topic when we say body awareness. Now, we want to presume the fact that you already understand one or two things about dancing. So I'm talking here to those who have been dancing for a while. Let's talk about bachata. Case in point, bachata. So you've been dancing bachata for about 6 months and you want to delve deeper as a female or as a follower into that aspect of sensuality. One of the first key things that you should be aware of is that you need to know your body. Now, when we talk about knowing our bodies, what does that mean? That means when it comes to dance, that you should be open to exploring more aspects to dance as opposed to just simply social dancing. So the first aspect, body awareness, know your body. Now, I would advise, in order to connect more with yourself and the inner workings of your body, for instance, when you're taking your arm up, just a simple thing. Do I take my arm up with my shoulder up like so? Or no, do I drop my shoulder and do I lift my arm up like so? That is just one example. Another example could be a foot extension. Now, if we come to a foot extension like this, I will talk about the hip sit. Do you understand what muscles are making this action happen? Do you understand? Be it a straight knee or a bent knee. Are you able to achieve your actions maximally or just a little? So, do you know your body? Do you understand what if you say a hip rotation like so? Do you understand what muscles need to be stretched to achieve maximal rotation? Do you understand this? When it comes to a body roll, a simple body roll going from the head all the way down to the tailbone, to the hips, and again look at my feet, and back up again. Do you understand what aspects of the body needs to be targeted to achieve a wonderful body roll? That is what we call body awareness. In order for you to connect deeper to your body and be more sensual, you need to understand the workings of the body. This is something that cannot be overstated or overemphasized. You must understand the workings of your body. So I implore you to become more open-minded, not just say, I dance bachata and I'm going to dance bachata alone. No, you have to explore other aspects. Yoga will help you connect with it. Will help you also become more flexible. Will help you also understand the flow of your body, from top to bottom. Twerk classes will help tone your thighs, understand the workings of the hips, and free and loosen up your hips to achieve better rotations and better body actions. I have a class, heels dancing. How do you use your heels on the floor? What can you do to help you become more elegant on the floor? To stand? How do you use your feet? What are your leg actions? This is important. Body awareness. The next thing is yourself. What do you say to yourself? And that is the words that form the thoughts in our heads while we're dancing. Do you know that while you're dancing, through thought or through what you think about yourself, you're able to portray better actions? Understanding that when it comes to bachata, for instance, the dance can be either flirtatious, sexual, you can bring in emotions, anger, happiness, joy, sadness, based on the music that is being played or based on the tonality of the music. You can portray different emotions in bachata. And this is why bachata these days has gained so much popularity, because it allows us as females to explore our emotions through movement. What do you say to yourself when you're dancing? Do you say, I am so beautiful? Do you say, oh, I'm so frustrated right now? Do you say, I can't take it anymore? What do you say to yourself? You need to speak to yourself. For when you speak to yourself, those emotions now translate to the physical. This is a fact while you're dancing. But this fact doesn't just go to followers, it goes to the leads as well. Are the leads talking to themselves? Are they feeling strong when they're leading the lady across the floor? Are they feeling macho? Are they feeling good? Later on, we'll talk about other aspects that can lead to you feeling even better on the floor. Not just what you say, but how you dress, how you smell. These all translate to making you a more sensual dancer. Okay, I'm referring to my notes right here. And what's the last thing we want to talk about today? Number 3 is being present. So, when you're dancing, especially if you want to portray more sensuality, you need to be totally focused on yourself in the physical and not in your head. Bearing in mind, one thing is what I said when I said you have to have thoughts. I don't mean constant thinking. No, this is not what I mean. I mean just portraying your emotions through your dancing. And sometimes it could be through words in your head, like, I want to be more flirtatious. I feel beautiful. I feel strong. But right now we're talking about being conscious and dwelling in the physical, and that is your body. For instance, you start a motion through the head, translates down to the neck, down to the chest, down to the hips. You're doing a hip action, and you're looking and you're touching. The hips drawing down, continuing your actions. That's you with yourself. What about you with your partner? When you're next to him and you're dancing, a touch here, a drag there. In order to portray connection of sensuality as a female, you need to be focused on your body, right here, right now with your partner, your body, and also your connection to your partner. And a great way to build connection to your partner is through touch. While you're passing, say you're passing through a kind of a cross-body-like action. Say we're switching lanes. 1, 2, 3, 4, up 5, 6, 7, 8. Say we did a 180-degree action change. I should be able to make a nice connection through my fingertips on my partner's shoulders or arm. We can improve connection through touch by touching our partners a bit more or ourselves a bit more. So, not wanting to sound gross, like say touch yourself, touch yourself. No, that's not what I mean. I mean flirtatious, a little bit of a swipe here, a little bit of a swipe there, a little bit of a stroke there, a little bit of a stroke here. And while you do so, you want to feel beautiful and glorious, or you want to feel bad and flirtatious. Your face. This is part of it. Being conscious. Your face, your arms, your hips, your thighs, your legs, your feet on the ground. Are you stroking the ground, making connection with the ground as you dance? All these matter to build out and to portray more sensuality, not sexuality. It could be sexual as well. These motions could be sexual as well, but you're focusing more on the sensuality. Sexuality when it comes to another aspect. Maybe you are attracted to your partner at that moment. Maybe your thoughts are wandering a certain direction. But you know, I like to demarcate my dancing personally from any other emotion I'm feeling because I respect the dance. The dance is that dance at that moment. And I am allowed to explore my emotion and my feelings through the dance. Bachata allows this. This is why so many people love the dance so much. But I don't want it to be confused with sexuality, which is an entirely different thing. Unfortunately, on the dance floor these days, we have women portraying more sexuality than sensuality. And we don't want these lines crossed. We want to understand one from the other, each one being positive in its own right, depending on how it's used. I hope these words, with this little talk, I've been able to enunciate and explain a bit more about sensuality in dance, using bachata as a subtopic, but dance in general. Be present. Think great thoughts about yourself. At that moment, don't overthink, just act on your emotions. Don't be afraid to portray your emotions. And be aware of your body. Explore other dances. Don't stick to Latin and say it's Latin and Latin. No, it's never so. Explore yoga, twerk, heels bouncing, hip hop. Each one has something amazing to offer you. Thank you so much. I shall be with you next time in a little bit of a short while. Thank you so much for your